Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by to check out today's video. So I'm going to be giving you an honest review on HelloFresh, if it's worth it, if it's any good. I actually found these boxes at my local Target, which is not really local. It's like an hour and a half away, but they had them in the refrigerated section, so you could always go there to get them. And I paid like $19.99 for each box, which if you think about it, if you're going out to eat and there's two people, you're usually not paying any less than $20 for your meal. So it's not really that bad, I think, but I really wanted to try these out. I've heard a lot about them and I've heard that they were good, but I've also heard some kind of like not good reviews. So I guess I'm just gonna see like if they're actually fresh, if they taste good, because that's the biggest thing for me. I'm wondering if they actually taste good. Like, I don't know, it's like you just never know. When you cook your own food and you're used to cooking certain things, you know it's gonna taste good, but when you try different recipes, like in different ingredients that you've never cooked with before, you're just like, you don't know. But that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you if it's any good. I'm gonna show you how I make them and go through the stuff in the box and just kind of let you see how it is. And if you're interested, you could either pick them up at Target or you could go online to HelloFresh, and they're usually always doing deals. I think right now it's like $80 off for the first 4 weeks, but they're always running deals and discounts, so you can sign up for it. You can pick out the meals you want. You can get up to like, I think 4 or 5 meals a week, even just do 2 meals a week. So, there's different options. There's different dietary plans that you can pick through. Like I, would do meat and vegetables, but they have like a vegetarian one, and they just have different options. But let me show you if they're any good. Let me, show you me making them and show you if they're actually worth it, and you can make your decision from there. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep rambling on. Let's just go ahead and get into the video. And if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first meal we tried was the crispy honey hot chicken. And this is my first time ever opening up the HelloFresh box, so I was really excited to see what all was inside, like what you get and everything. So as I opened it up, I did see, obviously, like they say, they've got all the ingredients in the box that you need. But one thing I will let you know is that they don't supply like butter, salt and pepper, olive oil, that kind of stuff. That's just stuff that you need to have in your kitchen. So the recipe will call for those things, but they don't supply it in the box, just to let you know. But this one came with some seasoning, some of the Mike's Honey hot honey, and then it came with some breadcrumbs, the broccoli, and potatoes. So you do need to wash all of your produce before you start cooking. That was in all of the directions in every meal, so just make sure you wash everything. And this one came with sour cream. And then at the bottom of the box is the meat. So I do see that like if you order HelloFresh online, it comes in a paper bag, it looks like. I haven't done that. I just bought these in the store. I guess that it just comes in a paper bag, but the way it came in the box was the meat was always at the bottom. But it just came with 2 chicken breasts, and these are meals for 2 people. You could probably get away with like serving 3 if you had a child and, they didn't eat a lot, obviously. You could probably get away with serving like 3 people, but not 3 adults for sure. Like this serves 2 adults and that's it. But it gives you all the directions on the back of this card. There is 4 steps. It tells you what to do step by step, how to cook everything. So it's really great if you don't know what you're doing in the kitchen. It'll pretty much tell you what to do. So like I said, you're just going to wash all of your produce. So that's what I'm doing here, washing my potatoes. And then it wanted me to dice up my potatoes into like 1-inch pieces. So that's what I was doing here. And everything was really fresh. Like the potatoes were good. Broccoli was good. So after that, you just use a large sheet pan, put foil on it, to help with cleanup. That's what they suggest. And then the potatoes went on one side, and then you put the chicken breast on the other side. So they did suggest to take a brush and just kind of oil the side of the pan that the chicken was going on. So that's what I was doing. And then it also suggests that when you take the chicken out of the package, to kind of like dry it with a paper towel. So it asks, or it tells you to do this a lot with the meat, like if it's chicken breast or if it's steak, because I did chicken breast and steak in this video, and it told me to pat down each piece with a paper towel, before it goes on the pan or before you cook it. So I'm sure, it sits in its juice for a while and kind of gets juicy, but anyway, so you put that on the pan like it says in the directions after you pat it all down. And this was, relatively easy. Like I just used a sheet pan to cook pretty much everything. So it does tell you to put some pepper on the chicken breast. Like I said, you're going to need to have salt, pepper, butter, olive oil in your kitchen. I'm sure most people have that already. But if you're just thinking, you're going to get the box and you don't need anything else, then you need to rethink that, because you will need, butter, salt and pepper, olive oil, that kind of stuff. So then it tells me to put the sour cream on top of the chicken breast. So that's what I did here. And, this was interesting because when you follow the recipe, you're like, I never thought of this before. I bet I could, make up my own recipe and kind of copy this a little bit. So it gives you ideas. Like if you did want to cook your own food and go get your own groceries, these recipes are kind of fun because they give you ideas for when you do cook. Like you might use some of these ideas. I would have never actually thought to put sour cream on top of the chicken breast, but it did seem to make it really juicy, like very moist. So anyway, it had told me to mix the breadcrumbs with olive oil and some of the seasoning that it came with, and then I did all that, and that went on top of the chicken breast, and then you just kind of packed it on there. The only thing I will say about this meal is that I wish that the top had been a little bit more it had been more stuck to the chicken, but when you would cut it, the breading would kind of fall off the top. Like it just wasn't very, stuck on top, but it was still good. It just, probably if like you fried the chicken in a pan, it probably would make the coating on top stick a little better. But just in the oven, like if you go to cut the chicken after it's done, it just kind of falls off the top. But I mean, it was still good. I was really impressed at how juicy the chicken was, and tender. But anyway, this is what it looks like. And then you're just going to drizzle your potatoes with olive oil. And then they want you to put the rest of the seasoning on top of the potatoes. And then you're just going to mix it together. Just kind of like toss them around on the pan. And like I said, you need olive oil. So you just sprinkle the seasoning on top. And this was it was like a barbecue seasoning. It smelt like smoked barbecue or something. So I just sprinkled that over the potatoes, and then I would just mix it together. And it was pretty easy. Like you can see here that it's not very hard. They don't make it difficult. It's just a few steps here and there, and they try to make it as easy as possible for everyone. And also like the cleanup, they try to make it very easy so you don't have to have so many different pots and pans and things like that. So that was nice. This was an easy meal to cook and an easy cleanup in the kitchen. I just pretty much took the foil off the pan and threw it away. So, that was easy. Besides my cutting board and knife, that was really all I had. And so this is going into the oven, and after that, I started on the broccoli, which was really simple. They just give you broccoli, so you just rinse it, and then they told me to put it in the microwave with a splash of water and steam it for like 2 minutes. So then once it came out, they told me to salt and pepper it and put just a little bit of butter and then toss it around. Now, I'm going to be honest and say I'm not a broccoli fan, so that wasn't my favorite part, but it was fresh, and if you like broccoli, you would definitely like it. So this is what it looked like when it came out of the oven. Everything turned out really great, and the last step was to drizzle the Mike's Hot Honey on top of the chicken breast. So that is what I did, and I mean, for 40 minutes, this turned out great, and I will say that it's so fresh tasting, and the chicken was nice and juicy and tender. This was a really good meal. It was the third of the three that I got that I liked the best. Like, this was in third place, you know, because I'm not a huge chicken person, but this was cooked really well. The flavors were good. It was good. Okay, so the second meal that we did was my favorite, Southwest beef and pepper jack tacos. I took this over to my brother's house, and him and my sister-in-law ate this, and she actually made it, and so I kind of filmed her doing it because I wanted them to try it and see what they thought about it so I could get their opinion. So anyway, I was really excited to try this one because I love tacos, but this is everything that came in the box. You get a poblano pepper, pepper jack, cheese, jalapeno. You get a vinegar. This was the red wine vinegar. And then you get an onion, a red onion. You get a lime, sour cream. You get a little hot sauce packet, and then you get some taco seasoning. I guess it's like a little warm, smoky taco seasoning packet, but it was really good. Southwest seasoning. Then you get your tortillas and your ground beef. So, and you have your directions on the back. So this one was super easy. It was all just one pan on the stove with a little bit of prep work. But my sister-in-law started zesting the lime, and it was so fragrant and it smelled so good. So I was just really impressed. We all were at how fresh it all was. And I guess, you know, they stand up to their name, Hello Fresh. But everything that she started cutting up, it smelled really good. It was really fresh. So I was very impressed by that. So she sliced the jalapeno. Obviously, she zested and sliced up the lime. And then she did the same thing with the poblano pepper. You know, she just cut it up and followed the directions like it said. And she seemed to think it was pretty easy herself, which I thought it would be fun, you know, to kind of see what they thought about it, because you get some honest reviews and see that if it's really worth it. Because I was thinking about getting this service myself, you know, maybe getting 2 or 3 recipes a week to make, you know, just because I thought it would be nice to have it come to your door. So, and I thought I would let them know too in case they were interested. But, you know, like I said, she's just slicing up the poblano pepper and stuff. And this was all just a little bit of prep work that you had to do, which was really easy. You know, it was simple and easy and, you know, not complicated. There's nothing hard about these meals, that's for sure. But she obviously sliced up everything, and, you know, the onion was good. And like I said, I was just really impressed by it all. So you can obviously do your vegetables any way you want. You know, it said to slice the onions, but we just kind of diced them here because that's how they like their stuff. So that's what she did. And then it also said to put the sour cream in a bowl. So there were 2 packets of sour cream. Once we did that, this kind of made like a cream sauce. So you put the lime in there that you zested, and then you squirt some of the lime juice in there. And this was so good. Like it made it have so much flavor. Everything that they told us to do made everything have so much flavor. So she juiced a lime and put that in there, one of the lime wedges. And it just smelled so good. I love the smell of lime. So I guess that's why I thought it smelled so good. But it was just, like I said, really fresh. And you just mix it all together, and this makes like a little cream sauce. So after that, she just put a little bit of salt and pepper because, you know, through the steps of everything, it kind of tells you to salt and pepper things. But one thing that was really cool was this pickling the vegetables. So you put the vinegar in a bowl, and then you add some sugar to it. It tells you, you know, all the measurements and everything. And so then after that, you just mix it together and you dissolve the sugar. But I wasn't sure what was going on here because I'd never done this before. But once you do that, it tells you to put your onions in there and your jalapenos. And what it does is it kind of like pickles the vegetables. Well, I've never done this before, but wow. I would totally do this with my own recipe next time I make tacos, because this was so good. Like, I was really impressed at how delicious this was. I never would have thought about doing this. And that's kind of one reason I enjoyed HelloFresh so much, was just the ideas it gave me. So after you put it in a bowl with the vinegar, your jalapenos and onions, it just said to salt and pepper, and then it told you to put them in the microwave for a minute. So it's just like you kind of steamed them in the vinegar, and that was really good. So then after that, we started on the vegetables, sauteing them. So you just put a little oil in your pan, and then it told us to put the vegetables in the pan and just saute them and kind of char them. So just the poblanos and the onions. And then after that, you added the beef and you just cooked it all together. As you can see here, it's just kind of like a one pot thing. You cook it all together, saute the vegetables, brown your meat, and that's about as easy as you can get for a meal. And so then you just start putting it together and you put your beef mixture on your tortilla, and wow, this smelled so good. Like, this was definitely my favorite meal. This was like my top one. And then you put your cheese on top. So, it comes with everything you need basically, except for your oil and your salt and pepper. And then after that, it just kind of tells you how to like put everything on your tacos. So you put the cheese, and then after that, it tells you to put some of the cream sauce, which that, like I said, that was so good. It was just, the flavor of it was delicious. And so you added the cream sauce, and then after that, like you would do the pickled vegetables and stuff. And I was just shocked at how delicious it was. Like, I guess I didn't expect it to have as much flavor as it did. Like, my tacos don't have that much flavor. But I guess it just, everything together, it just felt like an explosion in your mouth when you took a bite of it. And I was so impressed. And then you just put a little bit of the lime juice on it. You just squeeze a lime and put it on there. And I felt like I was at this like really fancy, restaurant having a really expensive taco. But anyway, so that was pretty much it except for the red sauce. It's just a little packet of red sauce, and it just told you to put a little bit of that on there. And then that was it. And she took a bite, and I tried it too, and we just thought it had so much flavor. We really enjoyed it, so I really recommend that one. So the last one I made was the sirloin and sherry shallot sauce. That was the name of it, and it was basically steak, potatoes, and green beans. So this one I just cooked it myself. And I'm going to show you what came in the box. So you get Parmesan cheese, and then you get garlic powder. It just comes in a little pack like that, which is basically how your seasonings come. And then you get some sour cream. Then you get a sherry vinegar. I don't know why I thought the little bottles were so cute. I love the little bottles. And then you get your potatoes, which were the same ones that were in the chicken box. And then you get this little like beef stock packet that you're going to use for the sauce. Got green beans, which were nice and fresh, hence Hello Fresh. And then again at the bottom, you have your meat. So under the little cardboard, you have your meat. And then you also had a shallot. So I've really started to enjoy just having everything I needed and then being able to just flip the card over, and there was the recipe. So it was kind of almost like the chicken one because you used a sheet pan, but you did have to cook on top of the stove too. But it told me to obviously wash my produce like it does in all of the boxes, and then just slice up your potatoes into like 1/4-inch slices. So that's what I did here. I actually think I might have got some of them too thin. So there was one part where I think I kind of messed up a little bit, but I'll know for next time if I do it again. But it wanted me to slice the potatoes, and then I would just trim the green beans after that. So that was pretty simple, not much to show there, but I sliced everything up and cleaned it, and that was that. And then after that, it wanted me to toss the potatoes with some olive oil and garlic powder and salt and pepper. So I just put them in a bowl. So I just took a sheet pan, put foil on it like it told me to, and then I just started putting the potatoes on the sheet pan. I think this is where I messed up because I didn't read the directions fully through. I just kind of went for it. I should have read them more, but you're supposed to kind of like overlap the potatoes, and I didn't do that. I set them all out separately, and I think that kind of made them a little bit more cooked than they should have been. But it was fine, you know. So after that, it told me to do the same thing pretty much with the green beans. You know, just toss them in some olive oil with salt and pepper. And so I just used the same bowl. And obviously you can just do these recipes the way you want to do them. You know, it's like you don't have to go get a new bowl for everything. You know, just make it easy on yourself. I just used the same bowl. I had olive oil on my hands and I was trying to use my salt grinder. I didn't think that through. Anyway, so I just tossed the green beans around just like the potatoes. And then after that, it told me to chop up half of the shallot. So, some of the ingredients, it tells you that you're not going to use all of it. You can put it away for later. So you can choose to do whatever you want, though. If you want to use the whole thing, then use it. But I would suggest following the recipes as much as you can because there's a reason, you know, they have certain measurements and stuff. So the potatoes had went in the oven for 10 minutes, and then it told me to take them back out and put the green beans on the other side. So the green beans weren't cooking as long as the potatoes, but after I put the green beans on, they went back in the oven, and I actually forgot that I was supposed to top the potatoes with Parmesan cheese. So I had to take them back out in a second and put the Parmesan cheese on top. But this next step was where the sirloin came in. You needed to put some olive oil in a pan on your stove, and then you pat off your sirloins on a piece of, or just a paper towel, kind of get off the extra juice. And then you just put them in a pan, and you're going to just put pepper on them. So, and you're going to cook these for 5 to 7 minutes. And this actually worked out perfect because there was one steak that was a little thicker, and then there was one that was a little thinner. And I don't like rare steak. I don't like steak that is not cooked. I don't like bloody steak. So it actually worked out perfect because my husband's was a little bit pinker than mine and mine was more done, and that's how I like it. But as you can see here, I had to take the potatoes back out and put the Parmesan cheese on top. And so kind of messed up on that part, but it was okay. It turned out good. I'm pretty sure that these recipes are pretty forgiving. If you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. But I fried my steak, and then I put them on a plate to rest. I did them for about 7 minutes, and then after that, it told me to put a tablespoon of butter in the pan. And then you're going to add your shallots to that. So right now you're just making a sauce, which was kind of fun to make because I felt like I was at a steakhouse, and I was making this really, yummy steak sauce. And I don't have a recipe for a steak sauce, so I had never done it before. But it turned out good. And then this was the sherry vinegar, and you didn't use all of this. You just used like 2.5 teaspoons. So that's what I mean. Like sometimes you won't use all of an ingredient. You can just kind of put it away for something else if you want. But it was 2.5 teaspoons of this sherry vinegar, and this sauce turned out so delicious. Like I would eat it on a lot of things. I was thinking it would be good on mashed potatoes. I don't know, but it just had a lot of flavor. It was so good. So you let that cook for a little bit, and then you add 1/4 cup of water, and then you're going to add your beef stock, and this is going to cook for a couple of minutes. And you're just, like I said, you're just making a sauce. It's not real difficult. The potatoes and green beans came out good. Like I said, I think I kind of maybe overcooked the potatoes just a tad, but hey, that's okay. I kind of like my stuff a little bit overly done sometimes, but next time I would know to not cut them so thin and to kind of overlap them. But so when the sauce is done cooking, it told me to add sour cream to it. So that's what I did here. And it just kind of made it like really creamy. And then a tablespoon of butter, and then it also told me to salt and pepper it. So that's what I did, and then I just started stirring everything together, and it just made a really nice, creamy, delicious sauce. Now the next part my husband did for me, you just had to slice up your steak. So as you can see here, like I said, one of them was thicker than the other, but he likes his steak a little bit more pink. A lot of people like it like that. I must be like very few. I know there are very few people who like their steak like I do. Like I like my steak like more cooked. So mine was the thinner one and his was the one that's more pink. But this is pretty much what you did. You put your potatoes and green beans down, then your steak, topped it with your sauce, and this was my second favorite. It was so delicious. So I hope you guys get to try some HelloFresh out. Maybe you'll find it at Target, or maybe you'll go online and sign up. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching.